Group terms are called factors, okay? So don't erase, okay? You don't erase, but I'm going to erase this just so I can clean up my work and you can see what I'm doing, okay? So we have x plus 4. Then we're going to add another factor, and that factor is going to be 2x minus 6. Okay, so we're going to talk about the vertical method first. Okay, so the vertical method is where you're going to align the terms vertically and add. Okay, you are pretty used to this method when it comes to arithmetic. Okay, you're used to aligning vertically your numbers and either adding, subtracting, multiplying like that. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. We're just doing them with these linear expressions. Okay, so here's what that's going to look like. I have x plus 4. Okay, right underneath that, I'm going to put the 2x minus 6. Now, do we think it matters where we put the 2x and where we put the 6? Yeah, where do we want to align them? Yeah, we want the 2x to be lined up underneath the x, okay, and we want the negative 6 to be lined up under the 4. So now we're just setting up a giant addition problem. And we're going to add them together. Yeah, I know, fun stuff. So what is 4 plus a negative 6 or 4 minus 6? Negative 2. What is x plus 2x? 3x. You're done.
Oh, that's really easy.
That was so hard.
It is just regular math. Yeah.
That's
Isn't that great?
Why is this 8th grade Monday? I thought it was in 1st grade.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't think we learned it probably.
This talk did not teach us.
Yeah.
That's all right.
It's okay.
That's why we're here. Okay. Horizontal method. Horizontal method, I think for a lot of students, you start out using vertical. And as you get more and more used to doing this, okay, horizontal is kind of where you'll transition to. It's a little quicker because you don't have as much, well, I don't know. It's horizontal is more of a like, you can kind of eyeball it a little bit more rather than having to write everything out. Okay, is kind of the way that I see it. I am going to write everything out, but at this point, I guess I'm just talking. So let's look at, so this is vertical method, okay? So let's look at the horizontal method. For the same problem, okay? So we've got x plus 4 and then 2x minus 6. So I'm just going to rewrite the original problem so you can see kind of what it looks like from beginning to end. Is everybody comfortable with that? Okay. Okay, here's the OG problem. What we're going to do first, okay, is rewrite this, rewrite the sum, okay, without parentheses, okay? Now on this problem, there's not anything that you necessarily need to do before you do that. We will have something that we have to do later, but we'll get there, okay? So we're just going to rewrite this with no parentheses. So now we have no barriers, no boundaries that these terms are kind of contained in. Now it's just a free-for-all. It's the Wild West, okay? It's 1892. And you can just walk into a dirt road and shoot somebody because they gave you a side eye. And there's really nothing you can do about it because dueling was legal then. So X plus 4 plus 2x minus 6. Okay, can we just add it all together? Some of them can be added together, right? As we saw with our vertical method. So you have to do a little sorting, okay? So I'm going to sort them into two groups. What are those two groups? Yes. Okay. Y'all just tag teamed the perfect answer, okay? Variable and constant, okay? And then D's telling me exactly which ones. So what are the two variables that we need to group together? X plus 2x. Now, why did I put plus 2x? Yes. So when I'm sorting these guys, I'm going to kind of mark them in the problem before, almost like I'm checking them off a list. Does that make sense? So, boom, I have x. Now I moved x down here, okay? And I had 2x. So I'm kind of marking them so that I know that I've already grouped those, okay? The reason that we put plus 2x is because it's a positive, is because it's a positive right here, okay? Sorry, my Texas twang kind of sneaks out of my mouth sometimes. So what other two items do we need to group? Okay, is it a positive 4 or a negative 4? Positive 4. Is it a positive 6 or a negative 6? Boom. Okay, and I'll, maybe box those in. Just so I know that those are different, but also check them off my list. Okay, and now you're just combining. Okay, these are now in our groups. Okay, now if you add parentheses on this step, that's great. If you decide not to, that's fine too. Okay, really doesn't make a difference. So you got x plus 2x is 3x. Okay, you got 4 minus 6 is negative 2. Okay, now when you look at these side by side, which one looks like it takes a lot longer? Horizontal. Okay, so on horizontal, what I'm really trying to show you is just step by step, kind of the steps that your brain should take to work through it. As you get more comfortable with it, you're going to skip a lot of those steps and just group them together. Okay, I'm not asking you to do that now. Okay, but just as you get comfortable, that's really a kind of at your own pace thing. Okay, let's look at the next problem. How do we feel about that? We feel okay? Yeah. Okay. Who remembers distributive property? No. Well, from previous math is what I'll say, not from Miss Clark necessarily. All right, well, I guess now is as good a time as any to talk about it. So we're going to have the problem 2 times the factor 3 minus y plus the factor 3y plus 4. Okay, now on this one, I will not dictate. I will not dictate which method you use. Okay, but there's a step that we have to take care of first. Okay, distributive property. Okay, distributive property does bring in some invisible math principles. Invisible math tells us that these parentheses mean what? Multiplication. Okay, they mean multiplication when you have something directly outside of it. Okay, so this 2 we're going to have to multiply to the entire factor of 3 minus y. Does anybody remember how to do this? It's okay. Okay, it's real easy. Okay, you're going to multiply it to each term individually. So I'm going to take 2, multiply it to 3. What's that give me? 6. I'm going to take 2 and multiply it to negative y. Whoa.
Never mind.
And it broke my tablet. Yes. Because it's called vertical, it almost seems like it should be taller. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. It's just because on horizontal method, I have just more steps to show you. Okay. Great observation. Yes, Jet. All right. Apologies. We were on such a roll. Okay. 2 times 3 is 6. Okay. So we're starting a new factor. We are starting a new factor. Okay. What is 2 times negative y? Negative 2y. So now this is our factor. Okay. So now we have 6 minus 2y plus 3y plus 4. Okay. So this property right here is something we need to make note of since we were unfamiliar with it. Okay. This is distributive property. Okay. And I'm going to draw right here. With distributive property, you have to multiply the outside value. And then in parentheses, I'm going to put 2 so that we know which value I'm talking about on this specific example. Multiply the outside value, which is 2 in this case, to each. Oh, that was not blue. That is black. To each term. 3 and negative y. Okay? You will see distributive property a ton. Okay? So if you're unsure about it, feel uncomfortable with it right now, that's totally fine. Okay? If I'm not worried about it, you shouldn't be. You will see it plenty, which means you'll get tons of practice. Okay? And practice is a good thing. Practice is the only word that my son likes to use when we're trying to go poop on the potty. So it's always important to find some hacks. So now from this point, finish solving. Okay, work with someone you're sitting close to get the solution.
Somewhere else. Three. This is a part of okay, so it's there too. I don't know.
That's okay. That's just a quarter. A swear jar. Hey.
Swear
It's
jar.
you can IO me. Hey.
Swear jar. Oh, wait.
I got like $15 in there from last year.
You have to like share the one with them. And then the other one like 6 minus 4.
No, this is from last year. I've taken a bit of it out of there. I think at its most it was up to like $23. Like 23. Just a quarter.
Actually, we're doing
Yes. Where at?
Wait a minute. I think
That one right there? That's a negative y. Where'd you get the 3?
Yeah, and then you put 6 and 4.
So this step right here was the original problem. Okay? This step right here is after we distributed. So don't look back at this one. Now you're working on this. Okay?
You gotta put them together.
Oh yeah. Okay, so now you have to take the
That's
things
what
down.
you
So first you take the
Oh, actually,
Gavin, you can leave that one in there, but you don't need it. That one that's before the y. So like if you see it on a test, they will never put the 1 in front. It'll just be y. But you putting it on there is not a big deal.
on top of the
Just make sure it's a negative 2y.
You would want to,
Okay, just a little bit longer on this on letter B, and then we'll move on.
Okay, so what does zero?
Oh.
Is that zero?
One more. Yeah. Maybe put the 6. When I did the. It was not good. I put 6 minus 4.
It's still zero.
I put 6 minus 4.
May I have
We'll talk about it, Jay. All right, guys, let's talk about letter B. Okay. Let's walk through letter B. Okay. What was the most popular method? Who used vertical? Who used horizontal? Okay. Some of you didn't use any. Okay. Let's talk about this. Okay. Let's focus up so we can check this, please. Okay. So we're going to sort. Okay, I'm going to line them up. I've got 3y plus 4. I've got negative 2y plus 6. Okay? So see how you kind of had to flip around one of them to make them line up? Okay, that's totally fine. What's really important, guys? Okay. You have to flip around one of the two factors to make sure that they can line up with variables and constants, okay? That's not a problem to do. You just have to make sure that you keep the right sign. Okay, that 6 still has to be positive down here. That 2y has to be negative down here. Okay? As long as you keep those straight, you can switch them up. Now you just add them together. Okay, so what's 2y minus 2? Or excuse me, what's 3y minus 2? Gavin? Yep, just y. Okay, you can put a 1 in front. You don't need it. It's invisible. Okay, and then 4 plus 6? So did y'all get to the end and then put them together? Yeah, that's okay. Common mistake. That's all right. Yep. So your answer is 10 plus y? That's great. So what I'll tell you, okay, for those of you that put your answer as 10 plus y, okay, the whatever it is, the commutative property of addition says it doesn't matter what order you put them in, they'll still be the same thing, right? But on a test, you will always see it written variable first. So just know that when you're writing your answers down in April or May or whenever it is that we take that test, and you get 10 plus y, just know that the answer choice that you want to select will say y plus 10. Okay? Either way, though, I won't dictate. That's a notation issue. All right. You have 2 to work on. Let's see. Okay. Jet, Omar, Alex, and Cohen, y'all are going to be responsible for explaining number 1 or number 2? Okay, number 1. Izzy, your group back there is going to be responsible for explaining number 2. Okay.
Explaining how we got the answer?
Yeah. Just walking me through it.
Wait, do we gotta do the both?
Yeah, everybody needs to do both. Everybody needs to do both.
Yeah, you write something about appendices now. So first you just take them out of appendices.
On which one?
Number 1.
Number 1. If you're doing horizontal method, yeah, you can. If you're doing vertical, well, I guess technically on both of them, you're taking them out of the parentheses. Vertical, you're going to stack them on top of each other. Horizontal, you're just sorting side by side. Yeah.
You do x minus 3, which is oh yeah, x is 1. So 1 minus 3 is negative. I know I did that. 1 minus 3. Yeah, negative 2. I'm so sorry. Okay, so it's negative 2. And then
I got good ears. Oh, hold on. This is very important because Alex just reminded me. And I always just explain this when the first situation arises. For those of you that might accidentally let cuss words slip out every once in a while, okay, it happens. Now let me finish explaining my rules. Okay. Anybody ever? Now I'm not saying have you played Monopoly like with your little brother or sister and you just like cheat, okay, or steal money from them. You don't play by the rules, okay. So if you've ever played real Monopoly, the rules are very strict, okay. And there's also this unwritten rule where, like, let's say Izzy owns Baltic Avenue, okay, and I land on Baltic Avenue. Now you know the rules of Monopoly mean since she owns that property, what do I have to do? I have to pay her money, right? But is it my job as the tenant, as the renter, to track her down to pay her? No. Right? If you don't pay the rent, if mom, dad doesn't pay the rent, somebody's calling them, somebody's showing up at your door the next day being like, where's my money? Right? So Izzy's got to pay attention. Okay? If I land on her spot and Izzy never says, all right, you owe me $60, we kind of wait it out. If she's not paying attention, maybe she's snoozing, she's chit-chatting, she's texting on her phone, whatever, we kind of wait a reasonable amount of time. Then the next person who's up grabs the dice and then rolls it. After you roll it, Izzy lost it. Okay, now I didn't have to pay her that turn. Okay, but if I'm playing with Izzy and D, and D sees me land on Izzy's property, and D goes, "Oh, Mr. Bennett, now you got to pay Izzy." Well, D just ratted me out, so she's got to pay my rent. Okay, so if Omar accidentally cusses, okay, and I hear it, okay, or don't hear it, either way. But then Alex is just like, "Oh, Omar, that's 25 cents." Now Alex has got to pay it. Okay. Now hold on. I'm just now telling you the rule. So this is where it starts. Okay. But you guys got to stay together. Okay. So you start ratting each other out, then you're going to end up paying the price.
But you heard before. I told you.
Yeah.
So.
It just reminded me of the rule, so I just needed to explain it. All right. Are we ready for number one?
No. We're not even done yet.
Okay. Just a little bit longer. We don't want to spend too much time. Walk me through where you just came from. Where do you get negative? But that's not one, that's an X, right? So are you doing horizontal method? I don't know. So that is the first step. Kind of you need to decide if you want to do vertical or if you want to do horizontal. Because that'll help you. Okay, so if you're doing horizontal, you want to group the X's together and you want to group the constants. Okay, so you can have in this first group x minus 2x. No, I said minus because you had minus right here, but that's 2x. It's not. So it's just the x plus. Okay, and then in your next group, it'll be the constants. So you have this number, and then the other. Now, both of those is 4 positive right here. So make sure it's positive right there. It's 3 positive right here. Okay, so make sure that it's negative. Now, you can add those together.
Okay.
What's x plus 3?
Mr. Owens is always asking next one. One plus 2
Like every time.
One plus
Well, he can't be mad because that's how he talks. You lied to our past and he was 40.
He's talking 40s.
I'm in my 40s. I'm in my late 40s.
What are you? I'm gonna sound just like this when I'm in my late 40s. Why does your voice sound all weird when you're in your 40s?
Let's talk about Mr. Owens.
Who?
Mr. Owens.
Oh, Mr. Owens.
He's not.
That was your Mr. Owens?
Mr. Owens is not 40. Don't mind. He is.
Not my good.
We gotta work on our impressions, Jay.
Yeah, he's like 71. Like, there's no way. Yeah, he's like 71.
He drags his words.
It's true. And then he says that he was when we were younger. Like, so what? We can take her grandma. We really can.
All right, how do we feel?
Okay, and then
Wasn't it good that you're old?
Nah.
so the answer is
Nah.
3 was
You want to come present? Or you can come up here to talk at the board, or you can just stand right there. Either way.
so the answer would be 3 plus 1.
I know. That's nice. I know.
You're adding the numbers. Okay, so you're adding that coefficient in front of the variable, but you got to put the variable in. Okay. We will have instances where the variable disappears, but we'll talk about that. Let's go. Let's go. Double time. Yeah, I don't know. Somebody took it out of my box right there. You'll have to go to that side. What's that?
They're the smart kid.
You'll be all right. All right. What method did we use? They are going over number 1. Just check yourself. Okay. Okay. They used a vertical method. Okay. Walk me through it.
So you take the two variables, which is x and 2x, you add those together, and it gets 3x.
And then you take the two constants, the negative 3 and 4, and then you add those together for 1.
So we have 3x plus 1.
You did it wrong, Cole.
You put 2x.
Oh, that way?
Yeah. A little less traffic. Okay. Now, Izzy's group, I'll give you all the same option. Y'all can stand back there and talk me through it, or come up here. Okay. There you go. Okay, so y'all, I think it's probably indisputable. Okay, let's focus up. We're gonna check number 2. Okay, it's probably indisputable that y'all had the more difficult problem. Okay, so what did we have to do first?
So we are. Okay, so you have to do negative 3 times w.
Yeah.
And then do times 5, right? Do times 5. And then negative 3 times 5.
So what property are they using right there?
Distribute.
There you go, distributive.
Oh, I'm
No,
sorry.
you're good. You're good. Okay, so D just said you're gonna multiply the negative 3 to the w and the 5, which gives you what?
Negative 3 plus 15.
Negative 3w, and it'll actually be minus 15. Okay, so you have the negative 3.
What?
Right here. It's negative 15. Because you do negative.
No, he
3
said
times
we're doing
5.
subtraction.
No.
Well, he said minus. He said minus.
Well, so here's the deal, guys. Is if I'm quiet, please listen, because this trips students up all the time. Okay, if I'm looking at this number by itself, it's negative 15. But when I put it into this whole expression, I'm gonna read it like it's minus 15. Your brain should handle them the same way, though. Okay. It's a difference of, is it by itself or is it in the expression? Either way, you're doing it the same way. Okay. Y'all did this part perfect. Okay. So why is it a negative 15? Because you have the negative 3 out here, right? And distributive property says you have to multiply it to each term. Is that 5 right here a positive or a negative? It's a positive. So a negative times a positive is always a negative. Okay? All right, y'all keep going.
And then for the second, this part right
Yep.
here. Oh, I'm sorry. You do 2 times W.
Yep.
And then times 2.
Perfect. So that one will be 2W.
And
-1.
Yeah, perfect. Okay? So what method did we use after this?
vertical.
Vertical. All right, so set me up.
Negative 3W.
Negative 3W.
And then plus 15.
No.
I mean,
That's all right.
yeah, negative 15. And then 2W plus
2W minus 4.
and 15. The negative 15 and 4 is negative 19.
Perfect.
And then 3W, 2W is negative 1.
Perfect. Okay, now I'll just mark it because it's invisible. You can put it and it's perfect. You can leave it off and it's perfect. Okay, so your answer could look like negative 1W minus 19 or negative W minus 19. Okay, both of those are the same thing. Okay? Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Now let's keep going. Man, y'all are about to luck out and not have homework all week.
Wow.
I don't know how that happened.
Let's go.
I need to do something about that.
No, you really don't.
Probably not.
Probably not. All right. We are moving to, we were just doing this whole section. Okay. Come on. There we go. This whole section that we just did, okay, was addition. Okay. The next section that we're going to do is subtraction. Okay, so what that's going to look like, you have letter A. Oh my. Letter A. 2x. So, no. It's just a different section of the same lesson. And just for future reference, Jet, it's a good question. I won't ever make you guess. Okay, if I'm changing it, I'll make sure I make a note of it up here. We have 2x plus 4 minus the factor x plus 5. Say that again. No. I'm gonna teach you how to do this one. Okay. So we are now subtracting these. So what's up? Yeah. Okay. So there is a slight difference to the way that you have to work these. Okay. On the subtraction problems, you have to do distributive property every time. Okay. What do we have to distribute? What's the only thing that's situated right outside of a parentheses? Yeah, the minus or the negative sign. Okay. You have to distribute that. How are you going to distribute that? Basically, when you multiply anything by a negative sign, all you're doing is changing the sign. So if that value was a positive, it's now negative. If it was a negative, it's now positive. Okay? So I'm going to rewrite this as 2x plus 4, still in parentheses. And now that I'm distributing this negative x, it's going to look like negative x. And then what's a negative times positive 5? Negative 5. I'm going to group them together. And now what do I need to put in between these parentheses? An addition sign. Okay? So you're changing the subtraction problem to an addition problem by distributing. And now we can sort them. I'm going to sort them using vertical method. So I've got 2x plus 4. I've got negative x minus 5. And then I'm going to add them together. What's that going to give me for my x's? All my x's live in, there you go, 2x minus x. Is this Gavin, what's that value of x right there, that negative x? It's a negative 1, right? So what's 2 minus 1? 1. So it should just be 1x, or just what? Just x, okay? What's 4 minus 5? Negative 1. Yep, so your answer could be 1x minus 1 or x minus 1. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. What? Then the first ones, because you've done them now. Yeah, now you've done 5 problems, so you're feeling a little more comfortable. Jay's realizing what it feels like to learn. Why is it easier now? Huh? You know how to do it. So, let's see. Let me find a good problem for you to practice on. All right, practice problem. We feel okay with that? What's really important? First step. Distribute the negative. Okay, distribute the negative. Then change to addition problem. Okay, and when I say change to addition problem, I'm talking about adding that in right there. Okay. Okay. Then you just use vertical method. Okay. Let's look at, we'll do a number 1. This problem will be 5x plus 4 minus x plus 2. You also will have number 2. Yep. That's what we'll do. Be 2/3 z minus 3. 2/3 minus 2 minus z. Okay. All right, guys, get to work. Okay, I'm going to give you, how much time do we need? 10 minutes. I'll give you 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, wait,
20? Okay, I'll give you 2.5.
Oh my.
No, never mind. 5's good.
Sounds good. You negotiate the same way my 3-year-old does.
He cut 10 in half, so it's 20 instead.
But I'm cutting it not in half, I'm cutting it exponentially.
Okay,
So-
5.
Okay.
Hey.
What is that? It's never gonna be like. That's like oh.
Are you feeling silly today? Because I really think you're silly today. Okay.
I'm writing my life story. Well, there's another one down here.
That's a view. Basically the same, but just with subtraction. But I don't know.
It's still a 5. Never mind. It's 5 something else. So you do. Mr. Bennett.
So
So, do you do 4 plus negative 2 and bring it down?
So what would that be?
Oh, that's why. I did. I think what you
Negative 2.
Thank you.
You're not. Why is there?
If you just sign that sheet out right there, you don't need to pass. Yeah.
So that's 10.
Yep. Then what about your X's?
It's 5 minus 1.
Okay. Which is
5 minus 1. It's 4. So it's 4x minus.
you tell me. You did 4 minus 2, right? Or plus a negative 2. So when you get this answer down here, okay, when you get this part, you got 2. When you write 2 first, it's like plus 2. Doesn't matter that you don't have this one first, but that way you'll remember. All right. All right, you ready to explain, Katie? You got it right. You can stay right there if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Listen, please. Here is number 1. Katie, what do we need to do first?
I put 5 times, 5x plus 4 in parentheses.
Okay.
And then put plus sign, and then in parentheses negative x plus 2.
Okay, so Katie is telling us that we need to use distributive property first. She put a plus sign in between the two sets of parentheses, and then that left us with minus x minus 2. Okay, now go ahead.
5x plus 4.
Okay, what method are we using, vertical or horizontal? Okay, we're using vertical method. So we got 5x plus 4
Plus negative x minus 2.
plus negative x minus 2. And now we combine. What's 5x minus x? Yeah. I like that I told you got it right, and you're still like, oh, I don't know if I should say this. What about 4 minus 2? 2. Okay. How we feel? Okay, if we had to take, so we have simplified algebraic expressions using what? With addition and subtraction. Okay, addition and subtraction. Okay. If we had to take a quiz over this today, show me a 1 if you think you'd fail, a 2 if you think you'd get a passing grade, a 3 if you think you'd ace it. If we took a quiz over what we did today. 3 is really good. 3 is really good. 2 so-so. 1 bad. Okay. 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 All right. Let's look at number 2. I'm going to walk through. Last thing for today. Okay, so if I could just get your attention for 2 more minutes, please. Please follow through. This problem right here will be the last one for today. You will have a problem similar to this addition and subtraction stuff when you come to class on Monday. Okay, I will also be checking your notes on Monday. You need to have 1.1 notes completed. And when I say completed, what am I saying? Okay, that's the one that we did together. Everyone should have that one. Okay, it's an easy grade. You also need to try and have the next day of notes. Okay, the day 2. Okay. If you need any extras, they're always in that black bucket. Yeah, you'll just keep grabbing them continuously. Okay. Yeah, you're gonna transfer them over, clean them up. Okay, and then I'm gonna critique the way that you do them. Okay, let's look at number 2. We're gonna use distributive property. I'm going to multiply 2/3 times z, which is just going to give me 2/3 z minus, what is 2/3 times negative 3? Yep. Okay. Look real quick, just in case we had issues. Okay, if you take 2/3 and you multiply it by negative 3, okay, what happens to those 3's? So we are multiplying 2/3 times the 3. Okay, so how do we do that? There's a couple different methods. You can just turn the negative 3 into a fraction and multiply across. So that's going to be 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And 3 times 1 is going to be 3. And then you just simplify that. So what's negative 6 over 3?
Oh my God.
Negative 2. Yeah, you got it. Okay. Or if you just look at it like this, I've got 2/3 times a negative 3. If I have a number on top and I have that same number on bottom, those numbers just cancel out, which will just leave you with a negative 2. Okay. Either way, it's going to be 2/3 z minus 2. And then I'm going to distribute the negative. So now I'll have negative times 2 is negative times 2 is negative 2. A negative times a negative z, positive z. Okay? And now we're just going to vertically align. So I've got 2/3 z. You should be writing this unless yours looks exactly like mine. 2/3 z minus 2 plus z minus 2. So again, notice you had to kind of flip them around to make sure that they lined up. Just make sure that you keep the signs with the correct term. Now we're just going to add them together. What's 2/3 plus 1? Yeah, 1 2/3. Okay. Don't write it 1 2/3. Write it 5/3, please. Because technically we're doing 2/3 plus 1. But this 1 we have to change into a fraction, so it'd be 3/3. And then when you're adding fractions, it's 2 plus 3 is 5, and the denominator has to stay the same. Okay. That's a little probably 5th or 6th grade math. So it's been a long time. I'm only saying that because that means it's been a long time since you guys have had to do that. So then we have negative 2 plus a negative 2 is negative 4. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So the notes, okay? Do not let the Cornell notes get backed up, okay? Notes are worth how much of your grade? 25%. This is not something where your teacher says you're going to do all this stuff at the beginning of the year and then the teacher doesn't follow through. If you think that's going to be me, you're going to be failing this class, okay? Keep up with your notes. These first few that you turn in are going to be me looking at them and then making suggestions, okay, on how to improve them. I'm not going to look at them and expect them to look perfect or exactly how I think they should look and then give you, 50s, 60s, and 70s on them, okay? Get them done. Get them transferred over, clean them up so that you can read them real nice, and then when I check them, I'll make notes, okay? Yeah. You need to have them ready before you come to class on Monday, okay?
So, do we do Cornell notes on this, or what we did?